Category 1 meeting to discuss technical issues with the North Anna 3 application. We had shared an agenda of 3 items for today's call regarding the ongoing seismic review. This is a Category 1 meeting again, and at the end of the proceedings for today's call, if there are any members of the public on the line, that you will have an opportunity to ask the NRC any questions. Without any further ado, I'm going to go through introductions here on my end, and then go through anybody on the line. Please introduce yourselves from Dominion and their associates, and if there's anybody, member of the public, if you could please identify yourselves before we start today's call. I'm Michael Udy. I'm at the NRC headquarters.
George Was, NRO.
Manas Chakravarti from NRO.
Jinso Nia from NRO.
That's it on our end, Gina.
Oh, sorry, we're on mute. So this is Gina Borish from Dominion, and with me I have John Waddell from Dominion and Tom Hicks from Excel Services. And GEH, could you please announce the people who are on the line?
Sure. This is Skip Shumitz, Tanya Kirby, and Lubin Todovsky.
And Patricia Campbell.
Okay. And then, how about from Bechtel? Is anyone online?
This is Doug Kemp.
Okay.
James Haldeman.
Okay. And I think that's it. Did we miss anyone?
Yeah, Pete Gilliard from Floors here also.
Oh, great. Hi, Pete. Thanks. Okay.
Okay, Gina, if you can just send me that list by email, that would be great.
I'll do that.
You need me to clarify who we have, I can do that as well. Do we have any members of the public on today's call?
Mute on.
Hi, this is Erica Gray from Richmond, Virginia.
Mute off.
When I go on mute, my phone gives me trouble, so when y'all offer public comments or whatever, will you please give me a couple of minutes this time? Well, not minutes, but give me a couple of seconds to be able to switch over. Thank you.
Okay, will do. Okay, for anybody who doesn't need to speak, if you can mute your phones. I'm hearing a lot of static and clicks and noise going on, so we would appreciate that. So we're ready for today's call. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over. Hello?
David Martin of Martin Issues is on the call.
Could you identify yourself again, sir?
David Martin Images News.
Thank you, Mr. Martin.
Mute on.
Department of Emergency Management.
Thank you, Ms. Scruggs. I appreciate that. Okay, do we have any other members of outside the NRC and Dominion on the line? Okay, again, I'll request people to mute their phones unless you need to speak. I'd appreciate it to cut down on the noise. So for the agenda today, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our lead reviewer, Manas Chakravarti, to go ahead and describe the 3 agenda items, and then Dominion can ask their questions.
Gina, this is Manas. I have just some questions. When we'll update the FSAR, are we going to put the revised site-specific stick model, which shows the added oscillators for site-specific analysis? That was one question. The other question was whether we'll have all these final enveloping seismic demand curve in the FSAR somewhere, or that's another question. And then we just wanted to get some update on the uplift calculation. Those are the 3 things.
Okay, Manas. Mike, do you want us to just go through and talk about the questions that Manas went over?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so Manas, for your first question about the stick models and including them, they are the information that you're going to be getting this month. It doesn't include the information that you're requesting, okay? We can do it. We have the information available, but I don't think we're going to be able to get that information into the FSAR and still get you the FSAR in December. So
that's okay, but as long as we'll get it in the final so that I can, when I write the SER, I would like to reference an FSAR figure on this revised model. Okay.
Okay.
So when we get that, we can always do it. It doesn't have to be right with this update.
What's referenced?
Well, hold on 1 second now. But what we were talking about internally, Manas, is that we would, the information that you're requesting about the stick models, we would put that in the sensitivity section of our section 3A, our appendix 3A, because it's, that's where we're talking about all the sensitivities and the effect of the concrete cracking, and we think that's really where it fits in best.
Yes, I agree.
Okay. All right. Lubin, is there anything else that you would like to add or say about that while we're talking about number 1?
Yeah, I just want to clarify that this is a model that was used only for sensitivity analysis, but the licensing basis, most of the analysis were performed using the standard design, the same models which were used for the standard design.
Yes, we understand that. So that's right, okay. But this is the study on cracked case, and it needed revision of the model. So that's depicted wherever it is appropriate, which is fine.
Right. Basically, that's why we are going to present that model in the section that describes the sensitivity evaluations we perform for concrete cracking.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay with me. Is that okay with the rest of the guys here?
Okay. So I think, Manas, what I'll do for that one is we'll add that to our action item list, okay?
Okay.
Track that.
Mm-hmm.
And then for your second question about enveloping the seismic demands and using the sensitivity, including the effects of the sensitivity analysis, can we, we're not really clear on that, and I was wondering if you could help us, and particularly Lubin, understand just what you're looking for and why you want it, so that we can make sure we're getting you what you need in the proper format.
Well, what I'm looking for is the final design basis spectra, which includes, if necessary, the effect of sensitivity studies. Somewhere in the FSAR that if it is, if the design base model does everything, that's fine, covers, envelopes, all those things, then statement in the FSAR, that's fine, but the demand part, should include whatever we are doing, like when we're issuing the FSAR or what, some document that shows these are the final design basis, okay? Site-specific design basis, which includes appropriate consideration of sensitivity studies, okay? And in some cases, we know that for fire water storage complex and control building, that sensitivity study already, is the design basis, the SSI analysis. So, but in many cases, it doesn't, the design basis in general envelopes everything, but in some cases it doesn't. So in those cases should be included in the final seismic demand documented in the FSAR.
In terms of the loads, what we have right now in the version that you are going to receive is we are presenting the loads, the enveloping loads, and design instruction response spectra, which represents the envelope of what we call licensing basis analysis, which were the one with upper bound properties. And then in the section describing the various effects that we have evaluated using sensitivity analysis, we identify what exceedances we have and how we are going to include them in the design basis. So basically, the version that you are going to receive December will include that information. Now, regarding the instruction response spectra, what I want to note is that the DCD itself and the FSAR presents only selected instruction response spectra at selected locations, and there is incomplete information regarding what is used in the design. To clarify this, let's say there is a design of equipment supported by a particular slab. The vertical instruction response spectra for that case is obtained as envelope of the single degree of freedom oscillator spectra. Now, since we have a cracking case, for example, we have more oscillators. That kind of presentation was never in the DCD, so that's why we are a little bit confused how to present this in the FSAR, because it will be something which is different than the scope of the DCD.
Yes, that's true, but at least the FSR should have a reference, where you have all this information. I know you were doing a calculation or something, or another report where you had all this enveloping information.
Ruben, let me. This is Jinso. Let me try to explain whether I can help to clarify the situation. So basically, for seismic load, whatever you're going to use for your design, which includes the base case, also includes all the sensitivity analysis. So we need the final number that you will use for design evaluation. Is that clear? I think we're looking for those numbers.
Okay, in terms of what we have developed so far and include all these exceedances due to concrete cracking and other effects, those are basically we have those developed, and for example, all the reports that document the structural evaluations or the evaluations of certain components of equipment has the spectra which was used as input, which is enhanced if necessary to take in account, for example, cracking effects, but also is also envelope of instruction response spectra at different locations, as I explained before, depending the configuration and the location of the particular piece of equipment that was analyzed. Now, also we are going to slightly depart from what was done in the DCD. For example, some of the information which we found to be the most of the exceedances we observed in the site-specific loads, for example, in the structures, were the out-of-plane loads on the slabs. And that information was never presented in the DCD. So do you want us to present all that information right now in the FSAR, since we already have that in the reports, or just having that in the reports, the structural evaluation reports, would be sufficient?
I think we're, the second bullet here is asking to put those final number in the FSAR, because, you will use those for your design evaluation.
Exactly. I mean, that design evaluation is documented in the FSAR, and you will get that right now with the results of the analysis and everything. Per se, we don't have the tables right now because they were not included in the DCD, so we wanted to follow that format.
I got your concern. So basically, you have the base case. You also have all the sensitivity analysis. You have the methodology to how to address those things, but you don't have the final number ready.
Right, the number which was actually used as input, for example, master analysis of reactor building, fuel building. Those values were not there because they were not in the DCD.
But I think you're providing us the second phase submittal, right, which is the full design. I would think you already have those somewhere.
Oh yeah, we have them in the report.
How to present in the FSAR.
Yeah, we have them in the reports. All that data is in the reports. But basically, what we want to ask is, do you want these tables which provide the loads, for example, for certain loads, to be included in the in the FSAR itself.
This is Tanya, responsible manager.
I think whatever load for the base case, you already include FSAR. You just change those numbers to the final one, because those numbers are used for the design, because that's represent all the exceedances there. If you just include the base case, some of the exceedance, for example, those demands on the FSWC, basically the triple SS governs. If you just present the base case for FWC, then you don't see those exceedance from the table.
Oh yeah, that is correct. What we did right now, whenever we had exceedances, and let's say the exceedance is due to the concrete cracking, in that section, which is 3A18.9, I think, we have tables and graphs illustrating what is the exceedance, and basically that value was used for the evaluation. But we don't have one table that summarizes all together.
That's fine. You don't have one table, that's fine. As long as you have the information somewhere in the FSAR, that's fine to us. We're not asked to provide one single table. That's not our intent.
I see. Okay.
And the other thing, like in DCD, the numbers that you have, they also include some of the sensitivity studies, right? It's like the spectrum, okay, the ARAs at different locations. They are really envelope of all these, the sensitivity studies. Isn't that right? I don't know, but that's what my impression was, but maybe not.
But I have to clarify because I wasn't here at that time.
But DCD did these sensitivity studies, right? I mean, cracking and not cracking, and then finally they enveloped everything, and those envelope spectra is there.
I think the most of the cases, because there were two types of analysis done. The one which was the lump parameter models were enveloping, but I'm not entirely sure if that was same.
Okay, anyway, but you understand what we are looking for, right?
Right. Okay.
And that's...
Okay, so Ruben, you're good?
Just to clarify, to confirm, in terms of the loads that are used, basically we have to, they don't have to really stay in one location, and we can refer to various tables that were there. But in terms of the instruction response spectra, I'm not entirely clear, because we have to include these effects for the instruction response spectra that are already in the FSAR, but not for like oscillators and other things.
No, I don't think you need to put for the oscillators, but at least you should have a reference where it is.
I think for the ISRS, I think the final envelope for the equipment qualification, you should have those curves in the FSAR.
Well, they didn't have in the DCD for those oscillators.
That's a additional oscillator.
There was oscillators, but there was no spectrum in the DCD. Okay.
No, there was no oscillator spectrum, and especially not the envelope of all oscillators, which are applicable for certain...
We probably don't need the ISRS or the response for individual oscillator, because some of the oscillator represent the second or third mode. We would think just one location, like for one roof, what is the envelope of the ISRS?
So some kind of like the illustration of how the spectra will look like. Is that something that you have in mind?
I would not like to go beyond whatever is in the DCD, okay? Now, if the DCD did not have those spectra, that's okay. I mean, but we have to look at it, so we looked at it. However, there should be a clear reference from the site-specific analysis where the additional spectra for these and the other things, these individual oscillators are where, I mean, it should be referenced somehow in the FSAR that, okay, final, for the oscillators, it is there, okay? Otherwise, how?
So these are two issues. The first issue about the oscillator is just a diagram of the model. We don't try to mix the two together. The second one about the seismic demand is about the acceleration forces and SRS. For SRS, I don't think it's appropriate to put SRS diagram for each oscillator.
Right.
It's more like for one location, for a floor, for a wall.
And DCD has that information at the edges, I guess, for each floor level.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, which is basically, the lump masses. They didn't go individually to the floor. Those spectra is not there in the DCD. Even though
yes, the DCD, it has the four spectra, the rigid mode, let's say, it doesn't have the out of plane.
Right. So my feeling is that whatever the extent in the DCD is okay. If we approve that at that time, I think it is okay too. But at the lump masses, all those spectra should be an envelope spectra, including the effect of sensitivity studies. Okay. Now for the oscillators, you have explained in the FSAR, how you do it and all those stuff, and then eventually you need to have some sort of reference or report or somewhere, people can go and see those oscillator responses if necessary. Okay, it could be a G's report or anything.
I'd like to clarify. So we do have a report that will have all the bounding loads and ISRSs that were performed for the licensing for North Anna 3. Not for all the components at this time, but for the scope of the selected elements, for example, and for the exceedances. Is that the scope that we're referring to?
I just didn't get it. You have a report that gives you all the envelope. These are for the exceedances you were talking about, or?
Correct. We have a document. Yeah. We have a document that presents all the instruction response spectra and with the damping needed for the particular components which were evaluated as part of the core effort. And I think
so. All the exceedances, and you have developed another report where we have all those stuff.
Right. For example, but that is applicable for reactor building because we did not we didn't do any evaluation, for example, for firewater service complex or the control building.
Well, I really don't have an answer. What I'm trying to find in the FSAR, which is our licensing basis, based on which we will basically make a determination that we do have taken, sensitivity studies into account, and where necessary, you described in the FSAR the method how you handle those discrepancies or any exceedances, and then either you enveloped it or you have some criteria like 10% or other criteria that that was used not to envelope with the sensitivity study results. Okay, so
I mean the criteria and the methodology we use to address those exceedances is it is right now in the FSAR version that you are going to receive.
Right, and once you have that. So we know how you handle the exceedances. We know the method. Now the actual results, whatever DCD had previously, okay, at the edges, all the lump masses and the selected locations in the DCD, we want to have the number which includes the effect of sensitivity studies. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Those things basically is in parallel with the DCD. For site specific, okay. Now oscillators, all those things will also describe in the FSAR, and all those stuff will be in the another place, But description of the method will be there. How you do it will be there. However, the actual final results, some of the results I don't know whether you have provided in the FSAR or not. I don't remember now, but it is in the report. the oscillator report. Now, I don't know whether the oscillator response is in the FSAR or not.
No, there are no oscillator responses because they were not part of the DCD.
Okay, so it is not in there, but is in the report, which is okay. And as long as we have some means of referencing that report, and we can do it, based on our ACR that this is where we looked at that. So there is a traceability of those things that staff had reviewed it. Okay. And as far as the exceedances, I would expect that all the exceedances in this should, in the FSAR, you need to describe it, how you handle it. If it is enveloped by the design basis analysis, fine. Just all those things are enveloped by those, no more, question on that. If somewhere it has exceeded, then you need to describe how it is handled. Either you could envelope it, or you could use some other criteria, or decide that it is not important for this reason, okay? So yeah, those things should be in the FSAR, okay? Because that's one of our important design, information that we will rely on in our determination, okay? So now, is there any other question that you have? That's what I would be looking for. But what about Jinshu, or you have anything else there?
Well, I agree with you. I mean, the FSAR should describe the methodology to address all the exceedances. Also, need to present a comparison of the site-specific seismic demand with the DCD demand. Whatever DCD have the curve, you provide the curve compared to DCD. That will be enough for FSAR. For more detailed response spectra or other parameters, you already have a lot of reports. That's fine.
Yeah, I agree. But we should be able to go in one place, like when we do the audit, that okay, this is the document that really have the enveloped response or enveloped load, and we just use this load to our seismic design capacity. So there should be in one, like you said, you are developing one such document, right?
Yes.
Fine. We can mention that in our FSAR, in our ACR, but as a minimum, we need to have these things, okay? That model, which is a change to the DCD while we are doing sensitivity studies. The second thing we need is how you handle the exceedances, the method. And third thing is, on those selected locations that the DCD has the information, we need similar information, but that includes all the, includes all the information or results from the sensitivity studies, if applicable.
Okay.
Did you get it? I mean, I don't know. Well,
yes.
Am I a little bit clear?
Yes, I mean, most of the information that you are requesting, you will find it within our submittal in December.
Okay.
I think some of the curves that are in the EFSAR will need to be revised to include some effects, but it's fairly limited.
I don't want to really go and have more information that's really not in the DCD, okay, unless it's really absolutely necessary, okay? But as a minimum, DCD information, level of DCD information should be there.
The comparison curves of the North Anna 3 to the DCD, that would be an additional...
Yeah, no, we have to. No, we have to.
Well, what I said, the comparison is for the whatever curve or data provided in DCD, you have another set of there for site-specific, North Anna 3 site-specific, right? You can overlap them together. That's a one curve. That's a one plot with two curves.
Or basic.
Or you can provide something to show those exceedance.
Oh yes, what we have, and basically that is based on the ARCO as well. We compare the DCD curves with results from each individual's case. Let's call them licensing basis case, to determine exceedances in the structural response spectra. And in addition to that, when we describe the sensitivity analysis, whenever we had exceedance, let's say in structural response spectra, we presented that in the FSAR.
That's
but
great.
We don't have per se like design spectra, which is broadened and envelope of all of them. So you can clearly see where we have exceedances and how big they are, but we don't have spectra which can be taken and used for the design.